Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to please take your seats. Our honorable chief guest has arrived. May I request you all to please be seated. Those of you who can hear me outside, may I request you to please come in. A reminder to kindly keep your mobile phones in the silent mode. various visits to the courts, he realized that there was no forum that acknowledged the courage and perseverance of litigants. Sunil then, along with Anand Bhardwaj and Navroz Dondi, set up Live4Freedom, an organization that would take up social causes in the areas such as justice, wildlife, and other topics. The idea of an award function for litigants was discussed with the Delhi High Court Bar Association, and they endorsed the idea enthusiastically. And that led to the setting up of the Fight for Justice Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted and honored that we have with us this evening the former Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, currently the Chairman of the Armed Forces Tribunal and the Chair of the Jury for the Fight for Justice Awards, Justice Rajendra Menon. The President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Mohit Mathur. the Vice President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, the Honorary Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Sandeep Sharma, the partner at Live4Freedom, Mr. Sunil Mangal, all of whom I now invite to please come up. Accompany just the former Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramana, onto the stage. Once again, may I mention that we are indeed blessed to have with us the former Chief Justice of India as our chief guest for the maiden Fight for Justice Award ceremony. I'd like to now request the President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Mohit Mathur, to please welcome our award winners and our invited guests to this event.
Good evening, everyone. Justice Ramanna, former Chief Justice of India, Justice Rajendra Menon, former Chief Justice, Delhi High Court, and now Chairman, Armed Forces Tribunal, Justice Kailash Gambhir, former Judge, Delhi High Court, Justice Rajiv Sahai and Law, former Judge, Delhi High Court, B.K. Gupta ji, former Commissioner of Police and a co-juror with me, Mr. Jatan Singh, Mr. Sandeep Sharma, and the other honorable members of the Executive Committee of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Bharadwaj, Mr. Navroz, and Mr. Sunil Mangal of Live4Freedom, other honorable dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. We have gathered here today on this historic moment where the High Court Bar Association, in collaboration with Live4Freedom, have finally been able to realize a moment where we acknowledge those who have fought to secure justice, not just for themselves, but leave an indelible imprint in our memories and in the legal history to achieve justice for which they had to strive hard, toil hard, and actually fight to get it. We have 8 such awardees today amongst us, whom I wish to welcome from the bottom of my heart, because for them, an effort was being made by the Delhi High Court Bar Association, along with Live4Freedom, that we somehow are able to recognize not just our legal fraternity, but those for whom we stand, as well as those who have stood by themselves and partnered with people to somehow get justice. And that is a mark that they have made, which we wish to honor and acknowledge today. In this regard, I welcome all of you to the first edition ever of this Fight for Justice Awards 2023, which today the Delhi High Court Bar Association proudly collaborates with Live4Freedom and LLP, an initiative where the suggestions and initiation of this idea from Live4Freedom was fine-tuned and now presented before this August gathering. These awards have been established to honor all those people who have strived against all odds to make a difference in our society and who knocked at the doors of our temple of justice, not for personal gains or for any adversarial contest, but as actual engines of change for the benefit of the public at large. We acknowledge such 8 people. Probably in the other editions subsequently, we are able to find out more and honor them. First and foremost, in this regard, I must thank and welcome the former Chief Justice of India. My apologies. Uh, I welcome Justice P.K. Bari, another former judge of Delhi High Court, who has been kind enough to come grace the occasion and has encouraged us in the past as well on different initiatives that we have taken. First and foremost, I welcome Honorable Justice Ramanna, former Chief Justice of India, who, despite his busy schedule, kindly consented when we requested him to grace this first edition ever. I also welcome all the other people who have gathered here today amidst us to give an impetus to this initiative, and we will be able to better realize it in times to come. As already informed, we were able to do this activity by selecting the awardees in 8 different categories who have fought in their own way to get justice. Those categories have been environment law, criminal law, law affecting child, the children's rights, law affecting women, administrative and governance side, and even law relating to labor and specially abled persons, besides a Lifetime Achievement Award. While judges are revered for dispensing justice and counsels are touted as doyens and stalwarts, it was felt a crucial segment of the population was amiss: the litigant himself or herself, who is also an integral part, an integral constituent of this temple of justice, the courts which we call. In fact, they are the main and real consumers of justice. While we professionals, and may I also say judges, spend our lives with an impersonal approach towards the cases we are faced with, and we cannot afford to get attached to a cause or a brief, and must constantly remind ourselves to remain detached. Today we will celebrate some special individuals who have worked tirelessly for this cause. They pursued and presented us with valuable opportunities to effect tangible justice in our lives and help establish a rule of law that effectively helps the common Indian citizen. As President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, I am proud of this initiative and laud the efforts of the entire team of Live4Freedom to help make this vision a reality. At this moment, I must also thank that in realizing this dream, a team of researchers of 5 young lawyers who actually studied the judgments, categorized them into different categories, shortlisted them as nominees for the jury to look into, and then the jury comprising of 3 honorable judges: Justice Menon, Justice Gambhir, Justice Kodandaram, former judge of Telangana High Court, and Mr. Vikas Pava and Mr. B.K. Gupta and myself. We were able to then assess, evaluate those suggestions and nominations, and then you will all get to hear who are the awardees. With that, I welcome you all once again to this first ever Fight for Justice Awards, and I remain hopeful that these awards will help give recognition and due credit to litigants who have thus far remained the unsung heroes of our world. My best wishes to each one of them, and look forward to hearing our most distinguished speakers and dignitaries on the dais. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mathur, for setting the tone for this evening. I'd like to now invite the former Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, currently the Chairman of the Armed Forces Tribunal and the Chair of the Jury of the Fight for Justice Awards, Justice Rajendra Menon, to please share with us the deliberations that went behind choosing the award winners.
Good evening to each and everyone present in the hall. Justice Ramanna, former Chief Justice of India, my colleague in the jury, Justice Kailash Gambhir, Justice Rajiv Idla, Justice Bari, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Mr. Sandeep Sharma, Sunil Manganji, ladies and gentlemen, and other dignitaries present. After a long journey which started just before the COVID, the final day has arrived when the awards for Fight for Justice would be announced. And as detailed by Mr. Mohit Mathur, 8 winners in different categories would be awarded today. As far as the jury is concerned, we were given the task of selecting the awardees with restrictions that they should not be lawyers, they should not be activists, they should not be social workers, but they should be pure litigants who have gone to the court not only for fighting for themselves, but something for the betterment of the society. And that was a Herculean task because whichever case we took, we found that some lawyer was involved in it or some social activist was involved in it. But the aim was to award and honor a litigant who fought for himself. And in this Herculean task of ours, I should first of all thank the 5 research scholars who helped us, and I can very candidly admit that without their assistance, we would not have been able to achieve this goal. The 5 young men and women who helped us are Ananya Khanna, where is she? Please stand up. Ananya, yes, there she is. She is a law researcher and was working along with Justice Siddharth Budul, the then judge of the Delhi High Court and presently Chief Justice of Manipur. Then we have Ehsas Puri. He's here. He was a law researcher who is working even now along with Honorable Justice Hima Kohli, Judge of the Supreme Court. Then we had Mr. Siddharth Singh, who is an independent young practicing lawyer in the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court. Then we had Abhishek Buddhiraja, a law researcher who used to work with Honorable Justice Poonam Bamra in the Delhi High Court. And then Mr. Rohit Sharma, again an independent counsel who works in the Delhi High Court and the Supreme Court. Now these young men and women used to come with a pile of judgments before the jury, and then we would discard most of the judgments on 1 or 2 grounds that they don't fit into the category, and then we would ask them to come out with more better judgments. And these young men and women used to work and come out with other judgments. And then we would ask them, why did you select this judgment? And they had answers for the reasons which compelled them to select that judgment. So it was just like interviewing them and interacting with them to find out what was the reason behind the selection of a particular judgment. And I even remember one day telling Siddharth that you are not appearing as a counsel before us, you have to satisfy our queries in a different manner. We are not going to write judgment on your selection. So we were a bit tough on them. My colleagues in the jury, even though I used to head the meeting of the jury, but it was Justice Kailash Gambhir who used to be the ringmaster of the jury. He meant business. He used to ensure that Jatan Singh and Mohit were in time, and these poor people had to be there because we used to hold the meetings on working days. So after court, 7 o'clock, they have to be at the place where the meeting was to be held. So in all, what I am saying is, we were good taskmasters. The members of the bar and the freedom live for justice cooperated in all manners, and after about 20 or 25 marathon sitting, we reached a conclusion based on the parameters. You will know the result within a few minutes, and I think you would approve our selection. And in case you feel that there is something which has gone wrong, please don't hesitate to tell us. We would candidly and welcome those suggestions so that in future we can improve on it. I have to thank Jatan Singh ji, for it was he who came to me and asked me to be part of the jury. And when I heard these conditions, I thought, should I be there with my work in the Armed Forces Tribunal? Will I be able to spare time? But Mohit ji and Jatan prevailed upon me and said, nothing doing, even if you have to leave your job in the Armed Forces Tribunal, be with us. I said, sure, I'll be with you. And I'm happy to say that they cooperated, they provided all the facilities, and today we are here before you. We have tried to figure out the cases, scrutinize them in a manner that the awardee was a person who did fight with the system, with the environment, and succeeded in getting justice from the highest court of the land. Ladies and gentlemen, I very candidly admit before you that the task done by us would not have been possible without the help of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, its office bearers, the partners of Freedom, Live for Freedom, and my 5 research scholars who helped us in all manner. Thank you very much. Hoping that you all would enjoy the function today, and further hoping that the first edition would give way to more editions, and with time to come, the award would have a unique place in the legal history of this country. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Justice Menon, for sharing the jury process of Fight for Justice Awards. I'd like to now request our Honorable Chief Guest, the former Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna, to please give the keynote address.
Brother Justice Rajendra Menon, Justice Kailash Kambir, Justice Sandla, Justice Bhari, Mohit Mathur, President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Jatan Singh, Vice President, Sandeep Sharma, Secretary, Mr. Sunil Mangal, Anand Bharadwaj, Live for Freedom, the Fight for Justice awardees, members of the bar, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, namaskar everyone. I am privileged to stand before you as one of the participants of today's Fight for Justice Award ceremony. We are here to honor the courageous, public-spirited persons who have worked tirelessly to secure justice for themselves and the society at large. I congratulate the Delhi High Court Bar Association and Live for Freedom for organizing today's event. I also congratulate all the awardees who worked hard and honored by this award in today's function. Recognizing and felicitating These crusaders of justice will go a long way in inspiring upcoming generations to stand up for the public issues. I am told that the awardees has been chosen by an independent jury headed by my brother Justice Meenal, Justice Gambhir, Justice Kodan Ram, and the Mr. Vikas Pava, Senior Advocate, Mohit Madhur, and the B.K. Gupta, who is the former Commissioner of Police Delhi. I congratulate and I thank all of them for working hard and recognizing the meritorious persons who deserves this award. These individuals have contributed immensely towards the cause of justice. I congratulate everyone. I am not going to talk much about the present day function, but I want to share a few thoughts of mine in the present environment. Mankind have always cherished justice. Justice is a fundamental aspect of law, philosophy, ethics, and religion. Justice is one of the attributes that makes us human. Life without justice would be arbitrary and devoid of meaning. Man takes up any endeavor on the premise that he would be appropriately rewarded for the efforts. Similarly, he suffers with injury. He seeks to understand the root cause of the such injury and tries to remedy it. Without justice, the world would be in a state of anarchy. Thus, a system of justice is essential for survival of a healthy democracy and a civilized society. In the last few decades, there have been radical changes in technology and global economy. The world is increasingly become materialistic and humans have become self-absorbed. The focus is on I, me, and myself. Our sense of duty towards our neighbors, community, and society is fast eroding and is being replaced by our greed to acquire more. Despite an environment which values only economic prosperity, it is heartening to see public spirited individuals from diverse backgrounds like the awardees with us today who have tirelessly fought for justice and just causes. These exceptional personalities have fought for matters that affect our daily lives, including the protection of the environment, rehabilitation of persons affected by tragedies, enforcement of labor laws, and for safeguarding of rights, women and children. They have become the unheard voice of the oppressed people. It is through them that the hard realities of the society have come to the limelight. Today's India is marked by various contradictions. We have one of the best constitutions in the world, and yet large sections of our society have to struggle for basic rights like right to clean air, clean water, and livelihood. We are one of the largest economies in the world, and yet a significant portion of our people live below the poverty line. Any country, no matter how powerful it is, needs activists, NGOs, and public spirited individuals to pursue the cause of justice. It reminds me of the opening lines of the famous book, Tale of Two Cities, written by Charles Dickens. I quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. I unquote. We must ask ourselves, why do these contradictions exist? The Constitution of India emphasizes on the idea of justice as one of its cherished goals in the preamble. The Constitution has given us a judicial setup to remedy injustice, especially for the less fortunate sections of our society. For several decades, the Indian judiciary has endeavored to uphold the rights of the most underprivileged and has given relief and justice to the speedy sections of our society. However, the duty rendered justice is not confined to the judiciary only. The Constitution obligates the executive and the legislature to make measures that promotes justice. It is only when the harmonious efforts is lacking in discharging of assigned roles that the judiciary is burdened with deciding what is right, what is wrong. I must admit that today's event also recognizes the extreme difficulty and pain that our judicial process poses for an average litigant. It is in this backdrop that we must ask ourselves a few uncomfortable questions. When we have a scientific document as our Constitution, with every conceivable safeguard provided for, why the crusaders that we are honoring today had a struggle for years together to secure justice? Whose failing is it? Down the line, did all the stakeholders perform their duties as expected under the Constitution? If not, what is the root cause of the problem and how to remedy it? We as legal community can take pride in the fact that we are never found wanting in most challenging times. Lawyers have always been at the forefront of struggle for justice. We are aware of the expansive contribution of the lawyers made during the freedom struggle and subsequently whenever democracy was under challenge. Post-independence, the symbiotic relationship between the bar and the bench have contributed to enrichment of our democracy. It is the spirited bar and encouraging judiciary that sustains the promote progressive reforms. However, at present, it is worrisome to note that the declining trend in lawyers taking up public causes. This trend is unfortunately not in accordance with the rich legacy that we inherited. In addition, there is now a tendency to go for headlines hunting through publicity interest litigation, thereby subjecting a well-meaning and successful innovations of the Indian judiciary to ridicule. I am reminded the words of Mahatma Gandhi. He had suggested that when in doubt, we should contemplate if our actions are going to benefit the poorest and weakest persons that we have come across. Similarly, we must introspect if the judgments that we give, the briefs that we take up, and the reforms in the justice delivery system that we propose, do they enable the delivery of justice to the poorest and weakest persons that we have come across? As judges, we should not allow procedural aspects to come in the way of justice delivery. I know that we are faced with large dependency and huge caseloads, and it is difficult to manage and take the burden on the failures of the other systems. Yet, as judges, we cannot say no to the just cause. It would be contrary to the oath that we have taken. Justice is not empty rhetoric. The judiciary is perceived as the ultimate remedial institution. As judges, we have to give and go the extra mile. It is our responsibility to create confidence in the vulnerable sections of the society. In the face of social realities and challenges, judges have to think out of the box to ensure that the rights guaranteed under the Constitution are honored in letter and spirit. The High Court of Delhi has always been ahead of times in justice delivery, sometimes outrunning even the Supreme Court. The High Court of Delhi has a rich tradition of championing the cause of civil liberties and guarding the fundamental rights even in most difficult times. It is my privilege to serve as the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court and to have worked with an honest and independent bar who are always ready to assist the bench and to resolve the complex matters that came before us. Fighting for justice is a life of sacrifice, and today we must acknowledge, salute, and honor the champions who sacrificed so much in their life for the cause of justice. Our awardees battled all odds for several years to secure closure to the litigation initiated by them. They have poured in financial resources and have endured the frustration that comes with adjournments and delays, but they refuse to give up. You are the true role models for the society. Your contribution in strengthening our democracy is invaluable. I congratulate you and your hard work in securing justice. I hope that such spirited fights of justice will continue. Your determination has made our society a much better place and has inspired hope in all of us. I would like to conclude by reiterating the motto of the Supreme Court, Atho Dharma Tato Jaya. Where there is Dharma, there will be victory. If judges, lawyers, institutions, the administration, and the citizenry follow their Dharma, victory is guaranteed. I hope that the Delhi High Court Bar Association and Live4Freedom will continue this wonderful endeavor for honoring and courageous persons who have served our society. I am sure many bar associations of various high courts will take a cue from this initiative of Delhi High Court Bar Association. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Justice Ramana, for your insightful address. I'd like to now request Mr. Anand Bharadwaj, partner Live4Freedom, to please felicitate Justice N.V. Ramana. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you will all agree that the most difficult part of any award ceremony is the role played by the jury, and it is they who have to spend grueling hours sorting out the nominations and deciding on the appropriate winner in each category. The jury for these awards too had to put in many hours of hard work, and tonight we'd like to acknowledge all of them. I'd like to request the members of the jury of the Fight for Justice Awards who are here with us to please come up on stage. We have with us the chair of the jury of the Fight for Justice Awards, Justice Rajendra Menon, up on stage. The former judge of the Delhi High Court, Justice Kailash Garuhi, may I request you to please come up, sir. Senior Advocate Rohit Margi will be up here. The former Commissioner of Police, Delhi, Mr. B.K. Gupta. Please come up on stage, sir. Two other jury members, Justice Chala Kundanda Ram and former judge of the Telangana High Court, and Mr. Vikas Pava, the senior advocate at the Supreme Court, could not join us today, but we certainly acknowledge their valuable contributions. I'd like to request Mr. Sandeep Sharma, Honorary Secretary, Delhi High Court Bar Association, and Mr. Navroz Dondi, partner for Live4Freedom, yes, here we are, to please come up and felicitate our esteemed jury members with tokens of our appreciation. We almost forgot. Go ahead. Thank you very much. May you all just gather together for a photograph. May I request all of you all to please now be seated down below as we move on to the next segment of this evening's program, which is a panel discussion. We'll quickly make the arrangements on the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, the Uniform Civil Code is a contentious issue, and there are people who feel that India definitely requires a Uniform Civil Code, as implementing it will promote equality and justice for all genders across different communities. Critics of the Uniform Civil Code, however, feel that the code would come into conflict with the beliefs and faiths of many religious communities. We have all seen how the UCC has encountered resistance from many sections of Indian society. May I request you all to please be seated as to discuss the pros and cons and the nuances of the Uniform Civil Code. We have with us Mr. Pradeep Rai, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India, Mr. Sanjay Ghosh, Senior Advocate, Delhi High Court, who will both be in conversation with Ms. Bandana Kaur Grover, advocate in the Delhi High Court. Please welcome them on stage as they discuss the next half an hour or so. Does India need a uniform civil code 75 years after independence?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today's panel discussion is on a contentious issue, Saman Nagrik Sanhita, the Uniform Civil Code. Enshrined in the Part 4 of the Constitution of India, Directive Principles of the State Policy, Article 44 casts a positive burden on the state that it shall endeavour to secure citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. The demand of UCC and reforms of personal law has been raised at various times in 75 years of Indian independence. Alarmingly, in 1985, during the Shah Banu case, and now various petitions have been filed before the High Court in Apex Court, crying for the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. The topic now, today, seized attention of the nation as Law Commission of India on 14th June 2023 issued a public notice soliciting opinions and comments on the Uniform Civil Code, creating an uproar in the society. Various stakeholders, including All India Muslim Law Board, Jamaat-ul-Hind, Shiromani Gurdwara from the committee, RSS, political analysts, have expressed their views for and against the UCC, and surprisingly, even in the absence of the subject matter. Yes, my dear friends, there is no document or draft bill in existence today. So today's discussion is on a topic without subject matter. But I sincerely hope by the end of the discussion we would have a draft bill ready to be submitted to the Law Commission. So starting, Mr. Rai, would you enlighten us that what is Uniform Civil Code and what is the goal that we are trying to achieve with the Uniform Civil Code?
You see, in my opinion, the Uniform Civil Code is a concept which has still to be actually take the birth and it has to grow. Because initially, when it was planned, at that point of time, you have to start from the 1833 charter. At that point of time, when this charter was brought, okay? In 1833, when this charter was brought, at that point of time, the subjects which were ruled by the British, Hindu and Muslim was divided, and just for the Christians and other communities it was left out. Gradually, there were certain schemes like you can say widow marriage, and then doctrine of lapse. In 1857, the first freedom struggle was the key reason was this social reforms like widow marriage of Adaram Monroy and Vidyasagar of Adaram Monroy, which was passed in 1829 and 1856. So the primary issue is that sometimes even if something is good for the society, society may not accept it because they are not educated in that way. And as far as these directive principles are concerned, we have to go in the history of these directive principles because when it was brought from the Ireland, prior to Ireland, it was in Spain. And prior to Spain, this policy was actually adopted by the Roman Catholic Church directly, and that's how it came to the force. And after adoption in the Indian Constitution, this yes, after adopting the Indian Constitution, it is said that certain things which the state has to do because India is such a vast country, we have so much diversity. We have unity, but there is a diversity. We have all kind of states, we have all kind of society, so many languages and so many cultures. So clubbing everything together without going into the nitty-gritty of those things and the consideration in which those states and those societies were formed, it will be really very difficult. But in my opinion, if there is a time when the entire nation, all the states, with the consent of everyone, if they can form a law, if they are willing to work together and they want to be governed in the same law, it will be a great idea. And that is the purpose.
Thank you so very much, sir. So, Mr. Bush, could you just list out what should salient features of the Uniform Civil Code?
Hi. Well, the question assumes that we need a uniform civil code. So we should dial back a little bit. Now, Mr. Rai said something about the directive principles of state policy. And Article 44 of the Constitution deals with uniform civil code. If this group goes forward 3 more articles, that bar over there has to be shut down. Article 47 talks about prohibition. So there are a lot of hopes and a lot of aspirations and ideas of the society. But I think more than a uniform civil code, what we need is an efficient civil code. And that's what the Honorable Chief Justice, Justice Menon was talking about litigants. The litigants are looking at a efficient justice system rather than a uniform justice system. The other thing which I would like to share with you is there is a misconception that uniformity is good. You know, we go to the room with the assumption that uniformity is good. So the issue is, what do we mean by uniformity? As of today, there are more than 10 states in the Indian Union where there are separate councils to govern the rights of tribals. In fact, many of the Hindu laws say that they don't apply to scheduled tribes. The state of Nagaland, in fact, passed a resolution over the Uniform Civil Code claim to say that we don't want the Uniform Civil Code in Nagaland. So, what is uniform? In fact, the concept, let's forget majority and minority. Even if you construct, and I'm being controversial as usual, in fact, if you construct the majority, what is a uniform majority? Justice Ramanna, his food is very different from the food I eat. The gods he worships are very different from the gods I worship. The customs, I am told, sir, I saw him clarify, the longest wedding is in Andhra Pradesh. And the shortest wedding is in Kerala, which is 2 minutes. So if you are invited to a Malayali wedding, and if you are 1 minute late, you might miss the wedding because the wedding is just tying the tali. So even our customs are different, our food is different, and this diversity enriches us. It doesn't make us weak. It doesn't mean that we are not strong as a nation. So coming to the question of uniform civil code. First of all, there was this uniformity that, just tell me, lawyers with a captive audience can go haywire. So I don't take more than 2 more minutes. And it's a very important point to make. If uniformity is being made for efficiency and to give effect to the constitutional goals, we are all for it. But if uniformity is being introduced to artificially create a construct of a majority, then I'm sorry, I am not for it. You may be for it, I am not for it. And this was done with dangerous, if there are students of history, this was done with dangerous consequences in India. I don't know whether you know about this. The British government had the concept of divide and rule. And in our country, the majority and the minority were never a majority and a minority. You ask, our old friends from the Delhi High Court Bar Association, they'll tell you that when they visited Lahore, the Punjabi Muslims over there were almost happy to meet the Punjabi Muslims there were almost happy to meet the Hindu Punjabis from here. They had more identification with the Punjabis because of Punjabi culture than with, let's say, a Bihari Muslim. So this was done in India to unite the divide and rule policy was followed by the British Imperial government. The customs of the Muslims in various states vary. For example, in Kerala, the Bhakla Muslims had different customs. They follow the Hindu succession laws. The Khaja Muslims in Gujarat follow different laws. So the British at that time was actually supporting the Muslim League. They wanted to unite all the Muslims as one as opposed to the Hindus. So they introduced the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act and the application of Sharia Act. And that was, and we know what the consequences happened. It broke the country. We had partnership.
So sir, I'll just intervene.
Yeah, I think I spoke too much.
Since you happen to mention that various laws were actually enacted, we are marriage act, marriage, and it was protection of marriage. So ultimately, even if the Sharia Act was not recognizing the rights of the woman, you were comfortable in that law. So why the resistance for a uniform civil code?
Not at all. In fact, in our Veda it says that noble cause comes from all directions. So if you are going to have a uniform civil code, which brings the positive aspects of all the religions, and everyone comes in, not with the spirit of trying to dominate, but with the spirit of trying to cooperate, I'm all for it. For example, let me give you an example. Under the Sharia, a Muslim cannot bequeath more than 30% of his shares in a will, right? So if under the Hindu Succession Act, we have an equality where a woman, a girl and a boy can equally inherit. But the power to use the will and disinherit the daughter is there. So if in the future uniform civil code you come up with a concept where the right of the girl to inherit is protected, where they are taken from the Sharia, which is good. Similarly, there are a lot of things in our Hindu law which are good, which people from other faiths can take. So I am all for that. So if you're going to have it, but that requires, as you said, where is the law? Where is the proposal? We are all discussing this major project, but no one knows what we are discussing.
Thank you, sir. My question to you, sir, is why do we need uniform civil code now? What is the urge now that after 75 years that now the clock is ticking and we need it now? What?
See, I did not say that we need it. I said that when the words are being made, they have to do something. You see, when we talk about artists in one way, what Mr. Bose also referred, when you go to artists, especially in the different tribes, you will find that those colleges were inducted by Loknath and his committee, despite a permission from Odisha, because he knew the society. You see, when you go to Meghalaya, there is a Khasi community. Khasi community, it is the head of the family, youngest daughter is the owner of the property, this is the name of the family. If you go to Nagaland, there again you will have different kind of tribes like Lotha is there, Mao is there, Rao is there. If you go to Arunachal Pradesh, you will find Nisi, you will find Monpa. So all of them have different kind of practices, and their laws are also a bit different. Like in Arunachal Pradesh, the tribe is state. They follow the 16th of the constitution, but they don't have rights over mining. But in Nagaland and Meghalaya, they have the mining rights also. They have River and River. So,
as you happen to mention that we are mathematical society, and I'm not being a feminist here. So you don't think that men in that particular tribe deserve equality?
you see,
I mean that recognition that two spirit of sexism is not required for that tribe.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
when is the time to achieve?
That's what I'm saying. So whenever the moment you start running something which is going to interfere with the regional practices, interfere with the tribal practices, you will have some. And that opposition may be valid at some point of time because you all have to, and that's why the government came through this idea. The moment you throw this idea in a political rally, at that point of time it will no one come back because that idea will be seen as per political guidelines. At the moment you discuss it in a closed door, make a policy, and then you throw this idea, take suggestions, and ultimately to bring the draft. Unless the draft is there, you will not reach on a conclusion that what policy, what kind of code they are
Right,
trying to
but
come.
the question is that what are you seeking your opinion on? The notice is vague to an extent, it does not even tell that what are the parameters that are going to be covered in.
Yes, that's what I'm
So
saying.
why such a vague notice?
You see, that's what I'm saying. That law commission is taking opinion. Again, the
On what, sir? The question is opinions of what? What parameters are you going to cover in?
Maybe it has not gone, and there is no possibility of it coming. This is what I said in the beginning.
So
So,
are you saying the notice issue is wrong? The notice that has been issued by the Law Commission of India is wrong? Is that what you're saying?
if they have issued the notice for the purpose of seeking information and suggestions, then it is never established.
And again, we are diverting the question. Suggestion issues on what? What are the parameters? What are we going to cover in UCC? What submissions do I have to make?
You see, like there are certain things which there the government or there any parliament they can't go into. Like all these tribal states you can't interfere. Again, if you go to some other customs and other practices, religious practices, you can't go into. Like people Pakistan has regulated. You see, Bangladesh has regulated. But then why India should actually wait in the Supreme Court? So see, certain things are there where you can actually go for the requirement. And that is the purpose. Purpose is not that you are going to interfere in each and every aspect.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So my question to you is, marriage is a big issue. And I think कहते हैं ना हमारे शादी करना तो आसान है, पर डिवोर्स लेना कठिन है. Having said so, how do you see this? What laws are we lagging? I mean, I'll just give you a very quick example. There was a 27-year-old woman who got married and she approached the court to get a divorce at 29 and finally 39 judges for divorce. And see the kind of difficulty she went through. There was, loss of time, valuable time. I would say she lost tutors, she lost money. So where do you think the laws are flawed and what is the way forward? And more specifically, what is your take on irretrievable data marriage and community of law?
I think you're always saying this is one. So let's quickly wrap this up. I'll say this is a lighter way, but this actually highlights the problem that we have. So there was this famous story in litigation, Supreme Court, and in case Punjabi for Justice Kuldeep Singh, the husband was complaining about the wife, then the wife was complaining about the husband, and ultimately Justice Kuldeep Singh said you should play the mediator and just tell the husband that I can't speak Punjabi, despite being there for 27 years. But in Punjabi was trying to convince the wife, the husband that see your wife is so good. And then the husband in exaggeration said, "Mother, I am so good, Jala, you keep her." That is the problem with us, that our matrimonial litigation is going on for 15 20 years, and there's a Supreme Court judge is thinking that he can actually solve the marriage and make the work together.
Are you saying the problem is with us, not the law?
No, the problem, as I said, has not been saying it's an efficient civil code or uniform civil code. So yes, you're right. The breakdown of marriage is something you have to consider. You cannot let parties suffer if a marriage is good. But at the same time, to protect the rights of the women. I'll tell you one simple example of how clever good lawyers are. Now in Goa, you have the uniform civil code. You have the Portuguese common code. Now, rest of India, we use the as lawyers for the wife, we use this 406 and breach of trust. Sridhar India, so 406 laga the breach of trust. Now, the lawyer in Goa found a layout. When in Goa, a woman tried to file a case of breach of trust, the male lawyer said, Goa में तो community of property hai, so there is no entrustment. Whatever is done, you got mine also. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is that we have to be careful when we are rushing through with law reform that there will be lawyers who will be interpreting the law and we have to protect them. But at the same time, yes, time has come to move on. All forward-looking democracies are reviewing matrimony.
So when you say we need not law, my specific question is, what kind of procedural change are you looking at in that process? How can you reduce the time of litigation? What are we looking at? You're saying you're 45 days. How are we making it?
You know, a simple thing like in America, most of the matrimonial proceedings orders the parties themselves write out the order and give it to the judge. The judge goes through it, accepts it, and goes to stamp. That cuts a lot of delay in the process.
I would not like to take their job.
Other than that, the problem with what you need is to end this multiplicity of appeals. You have to make the whole process efficient. You know, we talk about this always, but nowhere it hurts as much as in matrimonial law and employment law. Other property disputes can go on from generation to generation, but in matrimonial law, time is of essence, and something has to be done. Something has to be done.
So I will now conclude the session. I would like to thank my
Thank you very much, panelists and Mr. Grover, for that very informative discussion. Before you step down, sir, before you step down, I'd like to request Mr. Inderveer Singh Allar, Senior Advocate, to please come up and felicitate our three panelists. So we've got small tokens for Mr. Rai, Mr. Ghosh, and Ms. Grover. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as they receive their tokens of appreciation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the most precious moment of the evening is here now, where the announcement of the award winners of the Fight for Justice Awards will take place. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury has chosen award winners in 8 categories. And as was mentioned earlier, the nominees for these 8 categories were shortlisted by a group of 5 young law researchers who pored through hundreds of judgments in the Supreme Court over the past few years to arrive at this shortlist. I'd like to now invite up on stage to announce and present the first Fight for Justice Awards, our chief guest, the former Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna. So the first category is criminal cases. The nominees are, I'd like to beg your indulgence, Asha Devi. Asha Devi is the mother of the late Hari Singh. The whole country knows her case and Nirbhaya case. In the words of Justice Yogesh Khanna, the Nirbhaya case shocked the collective conscience of the country. Srimati Asha Devi fought for justice relentlessly for 7 years, and that led to the execution of 4 of the perpetrators of the horrific crime. This tragic event compelled the government to enact the Criminal Law Act 2013, a pivotal legislative response. They introduced several new offences, solidifying its commitment to addressing diverse forms of violence against women. And noteworthy inclusions were provisions for acid attacks, voyeurism, stalking, attempts to disrobe a woman, sexual harassment and sexual assault resulting in death or causing a person to be in a persistent vegetative state. Additionally, the Act sought to fortify existing offences by introducing amendments to heighten their stringency. Notably, Section 375 underwent a significant expansion in its definition of rape, encompassing a broader range of acts beyond mere penetration. The legislative reforms aim to address the gaps in the legal framework and contribute to a more robust and comprehensive system for combating sexual offences in India. The second nominee in this category of criminal cases, Ms. Neelam Katara. On the 17th of February 2002, a young man was brutally murdered due to his relationship with the daughter of a prominent political figure, T.P. Yadav. That young man was Nitish Katara, son of Neelam Katara. Ms. Katara kept up her relentless fight for justice for her son, despite encountering various hurdles. Due to her protracted efforts, the Supreme Court of India sentenced Vishal and Vikas Yadav to 25 years in prison. Additionally, a third convict in the case, Sukhdev Pahalwan, was sentenced to 20 years in jail. Ms. Katara's fight for justice brought attention to the issue of honor killings, where individuals are killed by family members or relatives due to perceived violations of family or community honor. I'd like to now request Justice Ramana to please announce the winner in the criminal cases category.
Asha Devi.
Together with Sham Sharma, Senior Executive, Delhi High Court Bar Association, please come up. I request Justice Ramana to present the Fight for Justice Award trophy to Srimati Asha Devi. And Mr. Sam Sharma, please present the award certificate to Srimati Asha Devi. Thank you very much. Congratulations. The second Fight for Justice Awards category is Women's Cases. The nominees are Prajwala, a non-governmental organization devoted exclusively to eradicating prostitution and sex trafficking. Founded in 1996 by Dr. Sunita Krishnan and Brother Joseph Vettikattu, the organization actively works in the areas of prevention, rescue, rehabilitation, reintegration, and advocacy to combat trafficking in every dimension and restore the dignity to victims of commercial sexual exploitation. The philosophy of Prajwala evolved after the oldest red light district of Hyderabad city, Mehboob Ki Mehndi, was forcibly evacuated in 1996. As a result, thousands of women caught in the clutches of prostitution were suddenly uprooted, were homeless, and got displaced. The case filed by Prajwala led to the formulation of a committee to study various aspects of trafficking and to consider the gaps in the existing legislation from the point of view of prevention, pre-rescue, rescue, post-rescue and rehabilitation aspects, and thereby making a comprehensive policy. The second nominee in this category is Independent Thought. This is a national human rights organization working towards equity, justice, and mutual respect. It works on child rights law through direct intervention and advocacy and provides technical and hand-holding support. In 2013, Independent Thought filed a writ petition before the Honorable Supreme Court. And because of their relentless fight, the Supreme Court of India in 2017 held the rape of a married woman between the age of 15 and 18 by her husband to be a crime and punishable as rape under Section 376 of the IPC. The third nominee is Ms. Shaira Banu. In 2016, the former husband of Ms. Shaira Banu divorced her using triple talaq. She decided to fight this in court. The Muslim Personal Law Board even filed a petition against her, saying that she was going against the rule of Islam, and they will not allow any change. Her relentless struggle led to the Supreme Court of India holding that the practice of triple talaq was manifestly arbitrary as it enabled a marital bond to be dissolved at the husband's whim, with no attempt at saving it. It also held the practice to be unconstitutional and violative of the fundamental rights of Muslim women. The Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019 was passed 2 years after making the practice of talaq-e-ibtidat illegal and punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years. The fourth nominee in this category is Ms. Shabnam Hashmi. Shabnam Hashmi is a celebrated social activist who adopted a girl child, but faced the issue of not being recognized as the child's parent legally. According to Islamic law, a biological relationship is necessary to be called a parent. She filed a writ petition not only to address her own situation, but to represent all citizens facing similar challenges when adopting children. The Supreme Court of India affirmed that adoption is a fundamental right accessible to every citizen without regard to their caste, creed, or religion. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2000 allowed for adoption regardless of religious or caste considerations. These are the 4 nominees in this category, and I now request Justice Ramanna to please announce the winner in the Women Cases category. Ms. Shaira Banu is the winner in this category. We are request Ms. Shaira Banu to come up. We report Mr. Jagan Singh here, Vice President, Delhi High Court Bar Association.
Excuse me, ma'am.
We are requesting Mr. Jagan Singh, please present the certificate to Ms. Shaira Banu.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next Fight for Justice Awards category is Administration and Governance Cases. And the nominees are Commander Annie Nagaraja and Commander Priya Purana. 17 women officers who had joined the Indian Navy as short service commissioned officers were not granted permanent commission after serving for 14 years. Instead, they were released from service, unlike in the case of women SSC officers of the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. Following the judgment of Ms. Babita Punia, wherein women officers in the Indian Army and Air Force received permanent commission, the High Court of Delhi ruled in favor of Annie Nagaraj and Priya Khurana. The same judgment was later upheld by the Supreme Court of India. The efforts of Commanders Nagaraja and Khurana made it evident that the potential and ability of the officers should be the actual criteria, and the contention of the appellants stating that the physiological limitations of women be dismissed. Women after this judgment can get the highest ranks in all 10 branches of the army that they are a part of. It removes the blanket restrictions imposed on the second nominee in this category is Ms. Mehak Rohilla. 21-year-old Sushant Rohilla, whom family and friends describe as a meritorious student with a strong extracurricular record, was barred from appearing for his 6th semester exams because of a shortage of attendance, and he died by suicide. This led his sister, Mehak Rohilla, to take up his case. It also resulted in more than 1,000 colleges appointing a grievance redressal committee on the directions of the High Court of Delhi. Universities have been directed to also make adequate arrangements for counselors and psychologists, and impress upon their affiliated colleges that there exists an atmosphere and sense of reassurance in the colleges that the educational institutions care for the students' well-being, and there exists a responsive mechanism for administration of their grievances. I'd like to now request Justice Ramana to please announce the award winner in the Administrative and Governance category.
Commander Ade Nagaraj and Commander Ina.
The award goes in this category to Commander Ani Nagaraja, Commander Priya Khurana. I'd like to request Mr. Navroz Dondi, partner Live4Freedom, to please come up with Mr. Nikhil Palli, who will be collecting the award on behalf of Commanders Nagaraja and Khurana, who will not be with us today. Justice Johanna may be requested to please present the Fight for Justice award trophies. Both of the trophies to Mr. Palli to be handed over to Commanders Nagaraja and Khurana. And Mr. Dondi will present the certificate for both of them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Commanders Nagaraja and Khurana. The next Fight for Justice Awards category is labor cases. The nominees are Mr. Bezwada Wilson, and take vocational training, they could keep away from scavenging. Through his work with the Safai Karamchari Andolan, Mr. Bezwada Wilson has been instrumental in sensitizing society to the plight of manual scavengers and advocating for their rights and dignity. His efforts have contributed to bringing employment of manual scavengers and construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act in 1993. And because of his work, in 2014, the Supreme Court of India asserted that the practice of manual scavenging is in violation of the constitutional mandate as well as statutory law. Wilson's efforts have empowered manual scavengers to come forward, share their stories, and demand their rights. His work has given them a voice to those who have been marginalized and oppressed for generations. The second nominee is Bandhuan Mukti Morcha. Bandhuan Mukti Morcha wrote a letter to a sitting Supreme Court judge regarding the working conditions of bonded laborers in Faridabad. Bandhuan Mukti Morcha, a humanitarian organization, also affixed the thumb impressions of these laborers on the letter. The Supreme Court of India decided to consider the letter as a writ petition. It appointed a committee to investigate the issue, whose report confirmed the allegations of BMM's letter, prompting the bench to direct the concerned workmen that they were free to go where they pleased, and also appointed Dr. Patwardhan, an IIT professor, to conduct a socio-legal investigation into the matter. Basis the investigation, laborers were held eligible for compensation. I'd like to now request Justice Ramanna to please announce the award winner in the labor cases category.
Vijayawada Wilson.
And these were Wilson, please come up on stage. We are requesting the to present a trophy associated to Madam Wilson. And Mr. Sandeep Sharma to please present the certificate. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, the next part of the Justice Awards category is environment cases. The nominees are the late Abdul Jabbar Khan. On the night of the 2nd and 3rd of December 1984, deadly gas leaked in Bhopal. The poisonous gas from the Union Carbide pesticide factory killed 8,000 people in its immediate aftermath and nearly 25,000 more in the next few decades. It also left over 150,000 people suffering with respiratory, hormonal, and psychological illnesses. 2 kilometers away, Abdul Jabbar lost several of his family members to the gas leak. He himself suffered from lung fibrosis and his vision got diminished due to the exposure to the toxic gas. From a businessman, Abdul Jabbar became an activist. In 1987, he set up the Bhopal Gas Peedit Mahila Udyog Sangathan, or the Bhopal Gas Affected Women's Enterprise Organization, also referred to as Sangathan, a grassroots organization composed mostly of women, which has been at the forefront of the struggles against the Union Carbide Corporation. In 1988, Jabbar filed a petition in the Supreme Court seeking interim relief for the victims until they receive their final compensation. In 1989, the Supreme Court announced a final settlement proposal and discharged UCC for all civil and criminal liability. Dissatisfied by the meager amount, 3,500 of the organization's members traveled to Delhi, where they organized widespread protests for months. After a decade-long struggle, the Supreme Court ordered the government to disburse a sum of 1,503 crore rupees among the 5,70,000 victims. Unfortunately, Mr. Pawar passed away in 2019. The second nomination in this category is that of the Bombay Environmental Action Group. Mr. Shyam Chainani founded the Bombay Environmental Action Group in 1979 along with a group of professionals, artists, nature enthusiasts, and entrepreneurs in Mumbai who were concerned about the impact of industrial and residential development on the environment and on local populations. They filed a petition in order to challenge the permission granted by the central and state governments for construction of a 500 megawatt thermal power station at Thane district against environmental norms. They contended that it would ruin the ecology of that area, further leading to adversely affecting the aquatic life nearby. The court found that the environmental clearance given by the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change was contrary to the environmental norms. I'd like to now request Justice Ramana to please announce the winner in the Labour Cases category.
Abdul Jawad Khan.
We're now going to the main complaint about the winner for us is Saira Banu, the wife of late Abdul Jawad Khan, and I request her, and the Director, Corporate Planning Control, Mr. N. Nagaraj, to please come up. We request the Mr. Trophy to Ms. Saira Banu, and Mr. N. Nagaraj, Director of Corporate Planning Control, the certificate. Congratulations. Thank you. The next Fight for Justice Awards category is Specially Abled Persons Cases. And in this category, we have just one nominee, Nipul Malhotra, a disability rights activist who has promoted rights of disability issues and advocating for the rights and inclusion of people with disabilities. He was born with arthrogryposis, a rare disease which involves a variety of non-progressive conditions that are characterized by multiple joint contractures. Nipul's advocacy includes creating an exemption in Delhi's odd-even rule for the disabled, getting low-floor buses compulsory, getting Indian Sign Language recognition, to name a few. His talks have contributed to changing perceptions and fostering greater understanding of disability issues. First, may I request Justice Ramana to announce the winner? And I also request Mr. Aditya Basu, Justice Ramana to present the trophy to Nipul. And Mr. Basu to please present the certificate. Congratulations to Nipul. Do continue the fight. The next Fight for Justice Awards category is Child's Rights Cases. This category too has only one nominee, Bachpan Bachao Andolan. Kailash Satyarthi founded Bachpan Bachao Andolan in 1980. And Bachpan Bachao Andolan has successfully changed the fate of many children rescued from exploitation, has achieved important anti-child labor and anti-trafficking laws, and raised awareness among the public. Along with innumerable awards, Kailash Satyarthi ji has won the Nobel Prize in 2014. In 2011, Bachpan Bachao Andolan got relief from the Supreme Court, wherein the Honorable Bench prohibited the employment of children in circuses, raid circuses to free these children, and established rehabilitation schemes for the child victims. In 2018, Bachpan Bachao Andolan made the Supreme Court of India recognize the immediate concerns of keeping children of all age groups away from drugs, alcohol, and tobacco, setting up of de-addiction centers, and establishing a standard operating procedure on enforcing the provisions of the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. The Supreme Court gave the following directions: complete a national survey and generate a national database within a period of 6 months. Formulate and adopt a comprehensive national plan within 4 months, which will, among other things, also address the areas of immediate concern noted earlier, and adopt specific content in the school curriculum under the aegis of the NEP. May I request Justice Ramana to please announce the winner in the Child Rights Cases category.
बचपन बचाओ आंदोलन.
May I request Mr. Anand Live4Freedom and Mr. Manish Sharma, Director of Bachpan Bachao Andolan, please come up to the senior award. Justice Ramana presents the Fight for Justice Award trophy to Manish Sharma. And Mr. Bharadwaj to please present the Fight for Justice Award certificate to Mr. Manish Sharma.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. The final category in the Fight for Justice Awards is the Lifetime Achievement Award. The nominees are Aruna Roy, the Chief Architect in the fight for bringing the Right to Information Act 2005. Aruna Roy joined the civil services in 1968 as an officer in the Indian Administrative Service. She left the civil services in 1974 to join the Social Work and Research Center, a rural development organization. In 1990, Aruna set up the Workers and Peasants Strength Union, the Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, a nationwide grassroots campaign launched by them led to the adoption of the Right to Information laws by 9 states in the early 2000s, and a national Right to Information law was approved by India's Parliament in 2005. In the Aruna Roy versus the Union of India, the Honorable Supreme Court questioned the New Education Policy 2002 that provides for value-based education to school children based on the basis of all religions. Focusing on the positive meaning of secularism, the court held that it is not compulsory that the idea of secularism could be implemented only by way of neutral approach, but can also be followed by way of making one section of a religious group understand and respect religion and faith of another section of people. The second nominee in this category is Neelam Krishnamurthy. After mourning the loss of both her children in the Upar fire tragedy, Ms. Neelam Krishnamurthy took up the legal battle against the giant real estate group Youngsters. She was the co-founder of the Association of Victims of Upar Tragedy, and through a prolonged legal battle of more than 2 decades, her efforts brought justice to the victims of the unfortunate incident, but also increased awareness of the importance of fire safety and the need for stricter enforcement of safety regulations. Neelam Krishnamurthy has brought the importance of fire safety and accountability to the forefront, and another outcome of her case, besides compensation to the families of the victims, was the creation of a trauma center at the Safdarjung Hospital. May I request Justice Ramana to please announce the winner in the Lifetime Achievement category.
Neelam Krishnamurthy.
I'd like to request Mr. B.K. Gupta, former Union Home Secretary and former Governor of Manipur and Mizoram, and Mr. Rajeshwar Singh, MLA and Senior Advocate, to please come up. Justice Ramana will present the trophy, and I request Mr. Google to please present the certificate to the next.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Neelam. Ladies and gentlemen, Those were the 8 award categories and are worthy award winners. Thank you to Justice Ramanna for giving all these awards and also for being our chief guest today. But before we step from this up, we have a small little gift that we'd like you to receive. And I would request Mr. Sunil Mangal, partner Live4Freedom, to please do us the honors. This is a replica of the award that you gave away, sir. We'd like you to keep this as good an award to you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all our winners. And I request Justice and as we draw close to the first Fight for Justice Awards, I'd like to invite Mr. Jatin Singh, Vice President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, to please give the vote of thanks.
Congratulations first to all the awardees and to the nominees also. Had there been no nominees, the awardees would have not been there. So all the nominees, they are also the real champions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Off the dais now, the chief guest of the evening, Justice N.V. Ramanna, former Chief Justice of India, Justice Rajendra Menon, former Chief Justice Delhi High Court, and now Chairman of the Armed Forces Tribunal, Mr. Justice Kailash Gambhir, the member of the jury, Justice Poonam Bhabha, who has also joined us, Justice Rajiv Handlaw, Mr. Mohit Mathur, Mr. Sandeep Sharma, and other members of the Executive Committee of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Chetan Sharma. My dear brother Chetan Sharma, who on a very short notice is the Additional Solicitor General of India in Delhi High Court. He joined us. Thank you very much, sir. Justice P.K. Bhari, a legend judge of Delhi High Court. We are extremely fortunate and honored that Justice N.V. Ramanna, former Chief Justice of India, took time out from his busy schedule to be with us today. His presence has added immense gravitas to the inaugural Fight for Justice Award. And before I go further thanking people, I must, by this couplet, which I am going to recite, salute all the fighters, all the award winners, and all these people who have organized, because this has taken 4 years for us to give shape to this idea and come here and stand before you to request Justice Ramanna to award those awardees. So this couplet is, यूं ही नहीं मिलती राही को मंजिल, यूं ही नहीं मिलती राही को मंजिल, एक जुनून सा दिल में जगाना पड़ता है. क्या बात. पूछा चिड़िया से कैसे बनाया आशियाना, पूछा चिड़िया से कैसे बनाया आशियाना, बोली भरनी पड़ती है उड़ान बार बार, तिनका तिनका उठाना पड़ता है. जिन्होंने भी अवार्ड जीता है और जिन्होंने ये फंक्शन ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, उनको भी रोज उड़ान भरनी पड़ी और रोज तिनका तिनका उठा के हम यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं और आप यहाँ आए हैं, उसके लिए धन्यवाद. The idea, now how this idea came, the idea to initiate Fight for Justice Award was first discussed by Mr. Sunil Mangal with me when a common young lawyer introduced him to me, and he said, I am fighting a battle. Why can't we award those people, those who have really fought throughout their life, the litigations for their dear ones or for the society at large? So once he met me, I floated this idea to Mr. Mathur and the then Secretary Mr. Abhijat of the Delhi High Court Bar Association. So after I floated this idea, both of them assured me that we'll get all the support from the bar and go ahead. The Delhi High Court Bar Association is with this idea because this idea is something unique. I have received call from Mr. H.S. Kulka, senior advocate, champion of civil liberties. So he said, Jatal, tenu kis tarah idea aaya hai? So I told him that there is a person who joined with us. So this idea came to us. Since we needed an experienced team to implement this noble idea, therefore Mr. Anand Bharadwaj, who is a known household name in the field of journalism, was requested by both of us to come on board, which was agreed upon by Mr. Bharadwaj. Mr. Bharadwaj commands great respect in the corporate world and had been a key figure in this successfully organizing 14 Hindustan summits, leadership summits. Our another friend who joined us in this dream project is Mr. Navroz Dhondi, an old colleague of Mr. Bharadwaj. He belongs to an advertising world and runs a company for the last 20 years. We are sure that with the strong partnership established between Delhi High Court Bar Association and Live4Freedom, the annual Fight for Justice Awards will gain stature as the years go by. Choosing the awardees for an initiative like Fight for Justice Award requires a jury that is biased and totally impartial. And Justice Manan has just said that Justice Gambhir, always kept us in discipline. And he always wanted, whenever there is a meeting, you should be in time because this idea you are coming with is wonderful idea. We are extremely fortunate that we had a jury that comprised of some of the finest legal minds of today. Our sincere gratitude to Chief Justice Rajendra Menon, former Chief Justice of Delhi High Court and Chairman of the AFP, Justice Kailash Gambhir, former Judge of Delhi High Court, and my mentor in bar politics, Justice Challa Kodandaram. We happened to meet him when we went to Mohit, Abhijat, we went to the swearing in ceremony of Justice Hima Kohli. So I met that gentleman for the first time. And my friends, Mohit and all, they asked me, Jatan bhai, kya hai? Hamesha biryani manga dete ho Hyderabad. So whenever he come, he first telephones me, bar ke liye biryani to nahi bhejni hai. So he's such a fine gentleman. He joined us. Shri B.K. Gupta, the former Commissioner of Delhi Police, and Mr. Mohit Mathur, of course, without him we cannot do anything in the bar. And Vikas Bawa, I requested him later to join. He also joined. The selection of the nominees for the Fight for Justice Award was a challenging task. Fortunately, we had a team of energetic and enthusiastic legal researchers who went through hundreds of cases over the past few years to shortlist truly deserving nominees. Our sincere thanks to Ananya Khanna, Abhishek Raja, Ehsas Puri, Siddharth Singh, and you have seen that we have had a scintillating conversation session this evening. And I would like to thank Mr. Pradeep Roy, Senior Advocate, former Vice President of the Supreme Court Bar of LawStreet, Mr. Sanjoy Ghosh, Senior Advocate, Delhi High Court, and of course the anchor, Ms. Vandana or Grover, for their thought-provoking and entertaining session. An event like the Fight for Justice Award cannot be held without the unstinting support of a number of partners. I would especially like to thank the following: our sponsors, NBCC, NTPC, Oil India, REC, Woodco, Radico, Gamilano, and 24 Secure for their invaluable support, and without their support, this event would not have been possible. Our implementing partner, R-Connect, our equipment partner, MSS World, our hospitality partner, the Lalit, our marketing partner, the Creatiges, our media partner, LawStreet Journal. I shall be failing in my duty if I do not thank our tireless masters of ceremony, Ricky Khanna. Finally, I would like to thank the team of Delhi High Court Bar Association who are sitting here and without whom this function would have not been possible. And of course, the three musketeers of Live4Freedom, Mr. Bharadwaj, Mr. Dhondi, and Mr. Sunil Mangal. The both teams, they worked tirelessly to make the Fight for Justice Award a grand success, and I feel satisfied that after 4 years I stand here and I see all the lawyer friends, the youngsters, senior advocates, Mr. Fulka is here, Mr. Aluwalia is here, Mr. Maninder Singh is here, Chetan Sharma of course is हाथी के पाँव में सबका पाँव है ये ऐसे ठीक है ना? He's always standing with the bar. Whenever we ask him, he's there. And my special thanks to all of you, because without you, these awards would have been nothing. All of you, all the members of the bar, senior and these awards for you, I would say that you deserve a standing ovation. All the members of the bar. You have come in large numbers to stand beside you. And without that, it would have not been possible. I see my favorite former leaders of the bar, D.K. Sharma. I do not know how many times he had been the secretary of the bar. Mr. Kirti Uppal was here, former president of Delhi High Court Bar Association. And there are former office bearers who have come to join us of Delhi High Court Bar Association. Mr. Sanjay Rathi is there, former secretary Bar Council of Delhi. My elder brother Ramesh Gupta, former chairman of Delhi Bar Council, was here. I saw him in the crowd. And all others office bearers of the District Bar Association. And I thank Mr. Anil and my friend, secretary and president of the AFT Bar Association. So thank you all. Now you are requested to join us for the
Thank you very much for joining. Before, ladies and gentlemen, you go for dinner, may I request all the nominees as well as the award winners. The nominees and the award winners to please come up for a group photograph with the members of the jury and Justice Ramanna. May I request all of you to please assemble here so that we can take a group photograph and keep this as a picture for posterity. Nipun, if I could request you to please come here. Everybody will be up on this floor. Executive members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association as well, please join for the picture. Nominees and award winners, please come up quickly.
hello. And the law researchers, the law researchers, team of law researchers, please come.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us outside for dinner while this photograph is being taken. The members of Live4Freedom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The fight for justice continues. Please join us now for dinner outside.
Yes or yes? Poonam, come down. Thank you. और भाई